Chapter 5, Sudden Rise. Yun Qingsheng finished speaking, and the crimson heart embedded in her chest transformed into a massive red lotus covering her chest. The pain intensified, but Yun Qingsheng was accustomed to such agony, and instead, she became calm.
How does it feel? Refreshing.
Jiao Shen could sense Yun Qingsheng's source power levels had significantly increased, likely by nearly 2 levels. However, this power wasn't very stable. Yun Qingsheng's tightly closed eyes suddenly opened, with a faint electrical glow swirling deep within her eyes. Her long hair, tied in a ponytail, also began to fly up. With the surge of source power, her body began to show various phenomena. But the electric glow in her eyes quickly dissipated, and her hair swiftly settled down, returning to normal. Yun Qingsheng extended her hand, and a black, form-fitting battle armor swiftly covered her entire body. The armor looked metallic, and Yun Qingsheng suddenly exuded a fierce killing intent. Jiao Shen was slightly envious. The Crimson Heart was really handy. Yun Qingsheng's combat power had now increased at least by 1 level. As for the painful side effects of the Crimson Heart, it wasn't really an issue for Yun Qingsheng. Her genetic sequence's mutation direction was diamond-like, making her body extraordinarily strong and resilient. She could endure the Crimson Heart's pain and slowly grow accustomed to it. She could even gradually grow amidst the pain. Yao Shen wasn't suited for the Crimson Heart. It's not just the difference between genders. His exceptionally keen perception would amplify the Crimson Heart's pain 1,000-fold. Yun Qingsheng suddenly punched hard, her fist tearing through the air with a sharp whistling sound. Yun Qingsheng softly exhaled and said,
I'm probably equivalent to a 5th-level warrior now. Plus the protection of the Crimson Heart, I should be able to fight a 6th-level warrior.
She then shook her head and said,
I probably can't beat old Dog Shoe.
Yun Qingsheng didn't know Su Hui's true power. But having seen Su Hui act multiple times, she had a basic assessment of Su Hui's strength. Even if Su Hui wasn't hiding his strength, her current state might not be able to defeat Su Hui. Although the Crimson Heart was handy, it was ultimately an external object, a type of weapon. How to use the weapon depends on the individual's skill level. Regarding this, Yun Qingsheng had a clear understanding. Whether in terms of technique, power, or experience, she was far behind Su Hui.
No need to worry about Su Hui, I've already taken care of him.
Gao Shen said.
We just need to deal with Zhu Lang.
To Gao Shen, the 7th-level Zhou Lang was the only threat. Yun Qingsheng was somewhat incredulous.
You killed Su Hui?
The head coach Su Hui was the nightmare of all the trainees. He was also the most terrifying enemy in Yun Qingsheng's heart. Gao Shen just killed Su Hui like that? It made Yun Qingsheng feel an unrealistic sense of illusion, as if she were dreaming.
Killed.
Jiao Shen said somewhat apologetically.
I forgot to call you. Killing him felt great. Su Hui's expression as he died was perfect. A pity you didn't see it.
Yun Qingsheng felt a sense of loss. Jiao Shen had grown so strong that she felt she couldn't keep up with Gao Shen's pace. She wouldn't be able to assist Gao Shen much anymore. Jiao Shen thought Yun Qingsheng was regretful for not being able to personally kill Su Hui. He comforted her.
How about I leave Zhu Lang for you to kill? It'll be more satisfying.
Yun Qingsheng remained silent for a moment and then asked.
Who is Zhu Lang?
She's been in the base for over a decade, knowing only Su Hui as the boss, never hearing the name Zhou Lang.
Zhu Lang is the real boss of the base, the real mastermind. Su Hui is merely Zhu Lang's lackey.
Yun Qingsheng's eyes brightened.
All right, leave Zhu Lang to me. There's a small issue here. Zhu Lang is way stronger than Su Hui. I'd be concerned if you couldn't fight him, my friend.
Gao Shen said.
The best way is for you to act as the tank to attract attention, while I take care of Zhu Lang.
Yun Qingsheng nodded.
Okay. You agreed so easily. Don't you have any questions? It leaves me without a chance to explain my preparations. feeling quite defeated.
Yun Qingshang didn't reply, just quietly looked at Yao Xian.
Pretend I didn't say that.
Zhao Xian politely smiled and then said,
The plan is simple. We follow the guard team there, and we'll see Zhu Lang. Then, when I give the signal, you take action. Leave the rest to me.
Yun Qingshang nodded, then she turned and worriedly asked,
Are your eyes okay?
Although Gao Xian was wearing sunglasses, his eyes behind the sunglasses were constantly closed. This made Yun Qingshang feel strange and somewhat worried.
I've never been better.
Zhao Xian grinned at Yun Qingshang and said expectantly,
Let's have a blast today.
Yun Qingshang didn't ask further because, although Gao Xian's eyes were closed, he moved freely. It seemed like having his eyes closed didn't affect him at all. This was naturally peculiar, but since Gao Xian didn't elaborate, she didn't ask more.
Bang bang bang.
The door was rattled, and a rough voice shouted impatiently from outside.
33. Hurry up and open the damn door.
Yun Qingshang's eyes turned cold, a murderous aura appeared between her brows.
Stay calm, we'll take out the big boss first, then handle the minions.
Zhao Xian reminded Yun Qingshang.
Don't be reckless, my friend.
Yun Qingshang took a deep breath, suppressing the boiling killing intent in her heart. She put away her Crimson Heart condensed battle armor, walked over, and opened the door. Several heavily armed men rushed in. The leader was a tall, burly man, bald, with an electronic prosthetic eye in his right eye, flashing a strange blue-red light. The bald-headed man was the security captain, nicknamed Vulture. This guy had no limits, often using various excuses to brutalize the base trainees. In the past 2 years, the trainees grew up, becoming stronger. Vulture had restrained himself somewhat. However, he still used various means to toy with the pretty trainees in secret. The entire security team was like this, not one of them was good. Yun Qingshang was driven to desperation by these people, forced to scar her own face. But the scar couldn't stop this pack of wolves. Yun Qingshang mainly showed a fierce determination, which made these guys dare not mess around. Vulture looked Yun Qingshang and Zhao Xian up and down. His electronic eye didn't spot anything unusual on them, nor did it find any weapons. This left Vulture a bit disappointed. Zhao Xian and Yun Qingshang were about to leave the base, and if he could catch them in any wrongdoing now, there was still a chance to mess with them.
Trainees are strictly forbidden to meet privately, don't you know the regulations?
Vulture said with a nasty look on his face.
You violated the rules, according to regulation, that's 50 lashes.
A security guard next to him took a whip from his waist and sneered.
Now, strip and lie down on the floor. If you scream nicely, we might whip you lightly. Ha ha ha.
The other security guards laughed arrogantly. They always managed the trainees, freely insulting and abusing them, deciding their fate. They didn't care about these trainees at all. Even though Gao Xian was about to graduate, and there would be no chance to meet in the future, they weren't afraid of Gao Xian's revenge. They didn't think Gao Xian had the guts either. Zhao Xian said, a little displeased.
The way you speak, I feel offended. Ha ha ha.
Vulture laughed.
088, you're really quite effeminate. You idiot.
Zhao Xian's mouth had always been sharp, which was a side effect of the six-winged celestial cicada, difficult for him to control. Reborn, Yao Xian's skill at spitting out profanities was at max level, sending Vulture's mother to heaven as soon as he opened his mouth. Vulture was stunned by the swearing, only reacting after a moment. By this time, his entire family had been cursed out. Vulture pointed a handgun at Yao Xian. The other several guards also pointed guns at Yao Xian, ready to shoot if he dared to move recklessly. This group of guards was at least second-level warriors, with rich combat experience, and ruthless to boot. With guns in their hands, they weren't afraid of Gao Xian and the others turning hostile. Vulture was even at 5th level source power cultivation, looking down on Zhao Xian and this group of trainees. He was provoked by Gao Xian, deciding to give Gao Xian a severe lesson. Given his status, killing Gao Xian wouldn't be too big a problem. Yun Qingshang's gaze was calm, without any expression on her face. Jiao Xian liked to talk, she preferred action. With the crimson heart, she had confidence in completely annihilating the opponent. At this moment, Yun Qingshang saw Gao Xian extend his hand, and an elegant, exquisite, crimson-sheathed long sword appeared in Gao Xian's hand. Vulture saw the sword in Gao Xian's hand too. He didn't know where the sword came from, but his rich combat experience made him pull the trigger without hesitation. The sharp, unmatched blood-colored divine light suddenly flashed, deeply imprinting itself in the eyes of everyone present. Vulture was intimidated by the sharp sword light, his movement momentarily halted. The god-slaying sword had powerful spiritual contamination. When wielding the god-slaying sword, it naturally accompanied a strong spiritual impact. Not just Vulture, even a master like Su Hui would be caught off guard, intimidated by the demon whispers hidden within the god-slaying sword. In the brief moment of Vulture's pause, the agile and nimble god-slaying sword had already severed his right hand, the blood-colored sword blade seamlessly piercing through Vulture's throat. The other several guards were just realizing something was wrong and were about to shoot when they were horrified to find that their gun-wielding hands were somehow already severed, and blood was spurting from their chests. Several guards screamed in agony, simultaneously collapsing to the ground. Jiao Xian had already sheathed his sword, retreating to his original position. Yun Qingshang, who was ready to move and assist, had no chance to intervene at all. She stared blankly at Yao Xian, her bright eyes full of shock. Chapter 6 Disguise. Yun Qingshang and Yao Xian are classmates, and they're close, so she knows Yao Xian's abilities well. Among the 49 graduates, Yao Xian's combat power should rank in the last 10. If it was a life-and-death struggle between her and Gao Xian, she was confident she could settle Yao Xian within 10 moves. But just now, Yao Xian made 12 sword strikes in 0.2 seconds and moved 7 steps. Even with the crimson heart, Yun Qingshang couldn't catch the details of Jiao Xian's movements. She couldn't even see clearly the appearance of the longsword in Jiao Xian's hand, only remembering the extremely sharp and chilling blood-red blade. No wonder Gao Xian could kill Su Hui. With such a quick sword, how could Su Hui not die? Since when did Gao Xian become so terrifying? As an assassin who has undergone hell training, Yun Qingshang knows how terrifying a state like this is for Jiao Xian. It could even be described as horrifying. Jiao Xian elegantly twirled the god-slaying sword twice, his head slightly lowered, with his long bangs covering his sunglasses, creating a melancholic and deep swordsman image.
How's that? Handsome or not?
Without waiting for Yun Qingshang to speak, Yao Xian added.
Be honest, don't praise me just because we're friends. Give an objective, fair, and truthful evaluation. Handsome.
Yun Qingshang thought for a moment and said,
If you could keep your mouth shut, I'd think you're even more handsome. Actually, my heart is cold, and my mind is wise, but my damn mouth doesn't obey my heart and doesn't listen to my brain. I'm quite helpless about it.
Jiao Xian was genuinely helpless. It was all the fault of the six-winged celestial cicada. The problem couldn't be explained too clearly. Yun Qingshang somewhat believed Gao Xian's explanation. Yao Xian had been talking non-stop since he was 6. Everyone in the base knew he was a chatterbox. Perhaps because his chatterbox persona was too successful, everyone subconsciously ignored Jiao Xian. A chatterbox, what threat could he pose? Everyone would subconsciously think this way. Yun Qingshang always thought this, until Gao Xian saved her life. Since then, Yun Qingshang realized how formidable Gao Xian was. Jiao Xian's insidiousness, cunning, and ruthlessness were all concealed by his chatterbox appearance. A 6-year-old kid with schemes, creating a persona, that's terrifying. So, when Gao Xian demonstrated his unbelievable swordsmanship, Yun Qingshang calmly accepted it all.
Vulture is about to die.
Yun Qingshang asked Gao Xian.
What next?
Just now Gao Xian said to keep calm, not to act recklessly. But then he came up and killed everyone. Yun Qingsheng was a bit speechless about this. Vulture used his healthy left hand to clutch his throat tightly, but he couldn't stop the blood spraying from it. But his life force is strong. Despite losing so much blood, he's still very conscious. But the suffocating pain has already turned his face purple-black, and his small eyes are bulging out. He's about to perish. As for the other guards, they're already dead. Jiao Xian used the bottom of the sword sheath to tap Vulture's forehead and said,
Remember his appearance, mimic him with the Crimson Heart, no problem, right?
Yun Qingsheng frowned slightly. To be honest, it's not easy. The Crimson Heart can transform freely, but what it transforms into depends on personal ability. Fortunately, Yun Qingsheng had learned disguise and camouflage, and was quite skilled. She could quickly capture a person's features and body traits for mimicry. With the Crimson Heart's ability to transform freely, this mimicry became much easier. Yun Qingsheng faced Vulture's face, using the Crimson Heart to continuously adjust her external appearance. The dying Vulture watched with wide eyes as Yun Qingsheng's face slowly morphed into his own, his gaze filled with horror.
I told you to press it tightly, yet the blood is still spraying out.
Jiao Xian squatted beside Vulture, asking with a concerned look, Are you lacking oxygen? Look at your ugly face turning purplish red, with bulging eyes. Isn't it uncomfortable? I originally wanted you to live a few more minutes, but you insist on dying. What can I do? Vulture couldn't speak but heard clearly. The suffocating pain made him wish he could die immediately, and Gao Xian's words only added to his resentment.
Suffocation is one of the greatest pains humans can experience. This opportunity is rare, you can only experience it once, don't waste it.
Jiao Xian kept talking, but Vulture couldn't hold on any longer. In less than a minute, Vulture's legs stiffened, and he lost consciousness. Gao Xian sighed with some regret.
All these years of your attention to me, I haven't repaid it yet. And you leave so quickly, what am I to do?
As he spoke, he kept fiddling with Vulture's head using the sword sheath.
Look at your dead look, so unwilling, so damn ugly, even dead you are an eyesore. Stop messing around.
Yun Qingsheng's head was almost completely transformed, and Gao Xian's movements made her dizzy.
I'm aiming for a multi-angle display.
Jiao Xian pointed at Vulture's neck.
See this chain of small warts, you didn't transform accurately. And the shoulders, his left-handed, left shoulder is thicker.
Jiao Xian critiqued Yun Qingsheng's mimicry for quite a while, and Yun Qingsheng accepted his suggestions humbly. The two studied Vulture's corpse for over 10 minutes, and Yun Qingsheng finally looked just like Vulture. Yet, Yun Qingsheng wasn't quite satisfied, as many details still didn't match. Yao Xian indifferently said,
Zhu Lang hasn't been to the base for years, he's unfamiliar with Vulture. He won't notice so many details. You just need to fool the gait and facial recognition of the surveillance.
Saying this, Yao Xian began to remove all of Vulture's weapons and equipment, helping Yun Qingsheng to put them on one by one. Yun Qingsheng was a bit worried.
I've never been to the core office area. I'm afraid it'll be hard to sneak in. Don't worry. The base uses low-level light computers to ensure confidentiality. The artificial intelligence level is very low. Permission levels are recognized through chips and passwords.
Jiao Xian pointed to the watch on Yun Qingsheng's hand.
This contains the permission chip. It's automatic recognition. No problem.
Having been reborn, Yao Xian was intimately familiar with the base's situation. Gao Xian said,
I'll handle the scene, then we'll go see Zhu Lang.
He unsheathed the god-slaying sword and vaporized it briefly. Vulture and several guards' corpses immediately turned into a mass of bloodlight, merging into the god-slaying sword. Within seconds, all that was left on the rough concrete floor was a pile of firearms. The corpses and blood traces disappeared completely. The god-slaying sword absorbed Su Hui's flesh and restored a bit of power. Absorbing several guards' flesh was much easier. As for clothes and similar items, the god-slaying sword didn't need them. Jiao Xian only melted them to clean up the scene. Though this required extra energy, it minimized countless troubles. Yun Qingsheng was dumbfounded. She always felt the sword in Jiao Xian's hand was sinister, but directly melting flesh into light was far too strange. As a well-trained assassin, Yun Qingsheng had a decent understanding of physical chemistry and other scientific knowledge. Although Crimson Heart was bizarre, she could roughly understand its power operation mode. However, the god-slaying sword had overturned her scientific worldview. Jiao Xian sheathed the sword, clearly feeling the excited emotions conveyed by the demon's murmurs within. After absorbing Vulture and others, the god-slaying sword's power increased just a bit. If Su Hui were considered a unit, then Vulture with 5 guards roughly equaled half a unit. The god-slaying sword was probably starved for too long, getting excited over a little meat. Now, the intense emotions conveyed by the god-slaying sword clearly urged Jiao Xian to continue killing. Unfortunately, the demon's murmurs from the god-slaying sword were ineffective on Jiao Xian. Jiao Xian sheathed the god-slaying sword into his left hand and made a silencing gesture to Yun Qingsheng.
This sword of mine is a demon sword, remember to keep it secret.
Yun Qingsheng earnestly nodded.
I'll never speak of it, even if I die. No need to be so serious, such things cannot be kept secret for long.
The god-slaying sword will always be used, it's impossible to kill everyone at all times. Jiao Xian only hoped to delay past the development phase. Jiao Xian didn't discuss further on this topic, instead saying,
Now let's go find Zhu Lang. Just say there's an urgent matter to report, Zhu Lang will meet us.
Jiao Xian then explained some details to Yun Qingsheng to prevent her from revealing anything on the spot out of ignorance. The core office area is independent with strong security measures. There are several secret escape routes. If Zhou Lang detects something amiss and escapes early, Yao Xian cannot guarantee catching Zhou Lang. Actually, Zhou Lang is just a pawn. Even if he escapes, it's not a big deal. The key is that Zhou Lang would expose him and Yun Qingsheng's identities. Jiao Xian was deeply aware of Blood God Association's terribleness. Compared to the gigantic Blood God Association, the current god-slaying sword is insignificant. Only when the god-slaying sword grows to its limit would it be qualified to contend with the Blood God Association. Jiao Xian didn't explain the stakes to Yun Qingsheng, knowing the gravity would only add to her burden. As long as they get into the core office area and meet Zhou Lang, he can settle his grievances with the base, find a place to start a new life, slowly accumulate power, and wait for an opportunity. Disguised as Vulture, Yun Qingsheng was behind, with Jiao Xian ahead as they entered the elevator. After Yun Qingsheng swiped her smartwatch, they rode the elevator to the 3rd level. They arrived at the security door, where the guard in charge merely glanced at Vulture before opening the security door. The underground base had been running smoothly for over a decade. The guards had long lost vigilance. The core office area was exceptionally clean, featuring a modern textile. The walls were silver glass, with smart hidden lighting. Compared to the underground dozens of floors of training spaces, this place was like a kennel. Jiao Xian silently led the way, guiding Yun Qingsheng to Zhou Lang's office door. The door was a sliding alloy type, apparently very thick. 2 armed robots stood in front. The shining silver-white alloy outer casing, holding Thunderstorm 3 model shotguns, was very intimidating. The heavy barrels exuded deterrence. This model shotgun, with bullets spraying hundreds of steel pellets, could easily penetrate a human body. It was extremely powerful, with a large coverage area, being the nemesis of all fancy combat skills. Yao Xian kept his head down, neither speaking nor daring to gesture to Yun Qingsheng. He could sense many cameras around, watching him and Yun Qingsheng from all directions. At this moment, any movement would be dangerous. Fortunately, Yun Qingsheng was calm. She stepped forward and, in Vulture's voice, said to the armed robots,
President Zhu, I have an urgent report.
Jiao Xian trusted Crimson Heart's powerful mimicry function, enough to fool voice recognition. Zhou Lang controlled the armed robot communicator, but inside, Zhou Lang remained silent. Without receiving a response, Yan Qingshang grew a bit nervous. Had Zhou Lang discovered something?